Absolutely, and I'll make sure I put on our website this morning as well the link to the Fairtrade Foundation, because there is also a link on there, almost it's a Google map, I think, isn't it, where you can actually pinpoint on the Fairtrade towns. Bruce, why should we buy Fairtrade?
Simply because it's the right thing to do. I mean, I started with this as a campaigner. I've been an Oxfam campaigner for 24 years. And when I discovered that we're living in a world where a small child dies every 3 seconds from poverty, and we can prevent that, that's why I want to support fair trade. It is making a difference. You've got people, if you can look at some of these items here, we've got people stitching these footballs. Most of the footballs in the whole world are actually made in one town in Pakistan, which is really quite hard to believe.
It's amazing, actually. When you said that to me earlier, you think in this day and age where everything's kind of mechanised and modernised, that this kind of making footballs, or something as simple as making footballs, would be done anywhere and everywhere.
Absolutely. And what's incredible about this is that the people in this town are making footballs even for the World Cup final. These footballs are coming from there of all levels. They get something like 30 rupees, 60p for actually stitching the ball. And
I mean, if we think of buying a good quality leather football out on the high street, I mean, I don't know, I'm guessing that kind of guesstimate, but I'm guessing you could pay 20, 30, 40 quid or more, maybe. Yeah. Professional footballs must cost more than that.
Absolutely.
Obviously, they would. That smells wonderful, I have to say. Sorry, I'm being distracted by the chutney making over there, which I have to say is a. Yes, it is boiling off rather nicely. I think we can get that. Fantastic. It looks like it's doing well, though. Okay, well, we've got a few fair trade products here. Talk us through just how mainstream and just how simple it is to be fair trade, and talk to us about origins of these particular goods. Where shall we start? Let's start with chocolate. I think that's the one that everyone kind of associates with fair trade. If you say fair trade, that would be what people would think about instantly as chocolate.
Yeah, and my favourite, I have to say. Garstang, we mentioned Garstang is the world's first fair trade town. It's actually twinned with a cocoa farming community in Ghana. Right. So they're the people, they're part of the Kwapa Cocoa Farming Cooperative, and they're the people who actually grow the cocoa that goes into this chocolate. Okay. Now, before fair trade, these people didn't even have access to clean water. Right. Whereas now, with fair trade, they're getting a much better deal. They can send their children to school. They can get clean water.
So is that widely available? That's Divine.
This is very widely available. The reason I've actually picked these ones is because most people and all these products is to show that the wide availability of fair trade products that they are around. So you can get Divine milk, you can get Divine dark, but you can also get there's about 9 different flavours. This is hazelnut. There's a lovely strawberry and white chocolate one there, and you can also get mint and various different flavours. But again, for widely available, it's not just alternative anymore. When the fair trade
Cadbury's were the big brand, which recently and very, very publicly, of course, transferred all of their chocolate making to fair trade, didn't they?
Absolutely. We've got Cadbury's Dairy Milk, and just last month we saw Kit Kat, the biggest selling confectionery bar in the UK, is now actually switched to fair trade. So fair trade isn't just about the alternative. It's not the sort of thing you have to just go to your local church shop to buy anymore. You can get it in your local supermarket very easily just by looking for that fair trade mark. That's an important thing.
Which is fantastic as well. So a lot of this seems to be that the products do originate from independent growers or companies. I mean, we've got some extra virgin olive oil here, which comes from, is it Zaytun? That comes from Palestine, is it? Yeah. Okay. And that's fair trade as well. So you've got all of the credence of the local company there as well, rather than maybe dealing with a big conglomerate. And does that help with fair trade as well?
Well, it does and it doesn't. I think the important thing with fair trade is it goes right across the spectrum. So you can have some sort of small companies, they're much bigger now, but companies like Divine, which are seen as alternative countries, but you can also see mainstream too. I mean, the important thing of this one is that farmers in Palestine, of course, have had a raw deal for a long, long time, and this is making things a little bit easier by giving them a fair price and a social premium as well.
Okay, on something like cereal, how is sourcing the ingredients different than from someone such as Kellogg's or one of the big cereal makers?
Well, of course, they have to be fair trade products, and fair trade products are only from developing countries. Right. That is what the mark stands for. It's a fair deal to farmers in developing countries. So it's only so all the products that can be fair trade in this cereal will be. So in this case, we're looking at chocolate and macadamia nuts.
Okay. And there's all kinds of things that you can buy nowadays that are fair trade. I mean, even things like cola. And you wouldn't, I mean, obviously, we know the big brands. You don't need to say them. But you were saying as well that the fair trade soft drinks and things like that aren't as you would expect. They are actually very, very good.
Absolutely. In the early days, they used to talk about fair trade as not being good quality. I can say this is my favourite chocolate without a doubt.
Yeah.
And this, Peter Kay talks about the roller cola.
Yes.
It's not a bit like roller cola. We've done tasting trials of this with big brands, and it actually comes out. People either don't notice the difference or they actually prefer it. My children actually prefer this
Really?
on a blind tasting.
And often I'm guessing that with a lot of fair trade goods, they will be healthy to boot as well. There won't be that many sort of high fat, high sugar, high salt fair trade foods.
Again,
as
I mean,
much.
we have to be honest about this. I mean, that's not what fair trade is about.
No, this is all about the sourcing of the ingredients.
This can of cola is full of sugar, so it's not a healthy product. But the sugar is giving those farmers a healthier lifestyle,
yes,
you might say. So it isn't. But you choose your healthy products, you choose your unhealthy products. That's your choice.
So
but
if a town wants to go fair trade, they have to kind of meet a certain number of criteria, don't they? I've got some of them from the website. First of all, you need to get local government buy-in, the local councils buy into this, some kind of commitment from the local authorities, a willingness to adopt fair trade within the town.
Yeah, there's 5 goals, which again, like I say, are aimed at the whole community. So the first goal is aimed at the council, the second goal is aimed at businesses that can sell fair trade products, the third one is aimed at community organisations like churches, mosques, synagogues, using fair trade products, and the fourth one is getting media attention, which is where you guys come in.
Yes.
And the fifth one is having a steering group that brings all that together. So it has to involve the whole community. If you don't involve the whole community, if any of those goals are missing and one aspect of the community are out, then you can't get fair trade status.
It must really broaden the horizons of the town as well. I mean, I just think of the town where I live, Chorley in Lancashire. I'm not sure if Chorley is fair trade or not.
It has a fair trade town campaign going. Yes.
Okay, so it has a campaign going. But I imagine, for a traditional northern towns, I'm saying that because we're based in the northwest, actually it really opens people's eyes as well, gives them new alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very proud of the Northwest, and I think we have got a history of fighting for a fair deal for workers, a fair day's pay for a fair day's work, which really at the end of the day is what this is about. So I think actually it's quite appropriate in one sense that Lancashire has sprouted the world's first fair trade town.
It is, it's fantastic. And it has given us, Bruce, for 1 second, has given us some wonderful fair trade products of which to cook with this morning. How are you getting on, Missy?
I'm getting on well. I still need it to sort of boil off a little bit longer, but obviously, for the purpose of television, I'll just have to stir up what we have got. It does smell amazing.
Prepare yourself, Bruce.
Okay, we're going to have a look at the recipe now while I'm serving up.
Riba! Now you've got all the instructions there and the ingredients, but the proof of the pudding, as always, is in the eating. Bruce, you're very privileged to be with us for a tasting as well, I have to say. I'll tell you what, I'll have the first taste.
Thank you, that's very kind of you.
You have the first taste.
And you can serve chutney with anything. We've got some crisps here. Of course, you can use poppadoms.
How is
or
it?
Put it as a
You can be honest. It's okay.
Good,
We'll still ask you back in the future.
Do you like it?
Yep.
Oh, fantastic. Good.
Marvellous. That's good.
Look, do you mind if
I just have a little tiny taste? I'm
not
shocked.
Taste, Derek. You pile it on there.
I'm not shocked. I'll be. Absolutely.